move on then, and reports suggest that MEP Infra is set to file draft papers for around 1,200 crore InvIT later this month. And in fact, they've drawn interest as well, reportedly, from Canada's CDPQ as well as other companies. To understand that more, we have with us Mr. Jayant Maheskar, the Vice Chairman and Managing Director of MEP Infra. Hi, Mr. Maheskar. Thanks so much, sir, for stopping by. Could you give us some clarity, sir, in terms of the InvIT, what's going on that front? How much are you looking to raise? What's the process? And who all have shown interest?
Good morning. MEP Infra has received in-principle approval last year from the regulator. Under that, basically the company has been evaluating two options under the InvIT, which is predominantly the public and the private listing. Under the private listing, as we discussed earlier, the company is allowed to consider projects which are under construction to be a part of the InvIT story. Under the public InvIT, that is, as of now, yet not allowed. As far as the company is concerned, the company intends to raise anywhere between 1,200 to 1,600 crores under the InvIT structure. The company would be filing the DRHP soon once we get the approval from the regulators, that is the state authority as well as the central authority.
Mr. Maheskar, how soon will you get the state and the central authority approval, all the regulatory clearances? And reports go on to suggest that, DRHP could be filed by the end of this month. Is that a reasonable assessment, according to you?
Yes, I believe by end of the month we should be able to file the DRHP, and post which, once we get approval from the regulator, then we can go out on the market.
All right, Mr. Maheskar, I think you've got a debt of what, around 2,500 crores, is that right?
Yes, consolidated debt of the company is around 3,000 crores.
All right, so how does this change, your books? How does this change the profitability of the company once you go ahead with this InvIT of around 1,200 crores? If you could give us some numbers, sir.
Basically, the whole concept of InvIT, which has been approved by the regulator, allows the companies to deleverage their balance sheet to a substantial, I would say, reasonable number. Having said that, as per the InvIT regulation, 51% of the debt has to be reduced. So approximately that number goes out and parks itself in the InvIT structure, which is more of a yield-based kind of a return.
Mr. Maheskar, have you had any talks with potential investors into the InvIT? Have you tried to gauge the kind of demand, the MEP Infra InvIT is likely to have? And if yes, if you could give us a sense, who have you spoken to already?
Basically, we have been talking to a number of large investors, which are predominantly, I would say, pension funds and insurance companies who are the most likely investors in an InvIT structure. Having said that, even the new guidelines by the regulator, I think released just a couple of weeks back, allows the banks to now put money in the InvIT, which is definitely a welcome move, which allows the banks also to participate in this story.
All right, Mr. Maheskar, just taking a break from talking about the InvITs, how much of your promoter holding is pledged? If you could give us some details. And there are some BSE releases that have come off late. Have you pledged some more shares? I think your total holding is around 67-68%, if I remember right. Could you tell us how much of your holding is pledged? Have you pledged some more shares? And if yes, why is that?
As far as the pledge is concerned, I believe what has happened in the last couple of weeks is there has been an inter-se transfer between the promoters. That is, the original promoters have transferred I would say, substantial holding between the relatives. That is the inter-se transfer before 31st March.
Okay.
And as far as pledge is concerned, I think there has been no additional pledge which has been done in the last, I would say, 2 months.
All right. So the total pledge, the last time we had, you had around 69.5% stake in the company. And out of that, 45% roughly was pledged. So you're saying that those numbers are as they were. You haven't pledged some more shares.
There is no pledge which has happened. As far as the 45% number is concerned, I think I'll have to just confirm that.
All right.
Mr. Maheskar, just one final question on, the InvIT bit. If you could tell us how many projects are you putting in the infrastructure, investment trust, and if you could tell us which projects.
As far as projects are concerned, I think we will be able to give the exact details during the filing of the DRHP, which is just a month away now.
Okay. All right. Just moving on then. When we last spoke to you, you indicated that demonetization had an impact on your Q3 financials. If you could tell us how, the Jan to March quarter has shaped up for the company?
We are, I think, in the phase of, I would say, having our board meeting very soon.
No, qualitatively, if you could tell us, without getting into numbers.
Basically, I think for Q4 definitely has seen a good pickup in terms of two things. One is the revenue in terms of traffic on national highways is increasing day by day, and also on the state projects what the company is managing. The addition to that also would be, I would say, a decent amount of construction revenue in the Q4, which has come up as a part of the hybrid annuity projects, in which two of the projects have got the appointed date, where the construction revenue is already being, I would say, considered for this quarter.
All right, Mr. Maiskar, before we let you go, give us a sense. What is the order book? The last time you told us that you were bidding for more projects. What was it? Have you bid for more projects, and what's it likely to go to?
Apparently, post financial closure of all the 6 hybrid annuity projects, the company is actively looking at bidding for more hybrid annuity projects.
Okay.
The pipeline from the ministry is, I would say, substantially large. In fact, in terms of number of players are less, and bidding is more. Having said that, the company currently would be bidding close to around 5,000 to 6,000 crores in the current quarter, and post which we will be considering fresh bidding.